Tax liens in Texas, tax lien property in Texas. Well, welcome back. Over the last few decades, tax lien property is one of the safest and highest interest investments there is in America. So this is safe and it's secure. So today I'm going to show you how to create wealth investing in tax lien and tax lien properties in Texas. So kind of open up your mind and learn this because this is really a special class. Now, I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in tax lien certificates and tax default property since the last 30 years. But prior to that, I was in regular real estate. I'm going to tell you tax liens and tax deeds is much safer. You get rid of the recession. It doesn't have the up and down. So I've stayed in this business for the last 30 years. Now, today I'm going to show you how to make double-digit returns on your money, and it's going to be guaranteed. Now, let me say that again. Double digits, and it's guaranteed. Not by me, but by the local county. I'm going to tell you at the end of this video about big mistakes that people make at auctions. Now, the big mistakes, I'll go into detail. It'll only take me a minute to do that, but stay until the end. I'll be right back and tell you about those mistakes so that you can avoid them. Investing in tax lien and tax lien properties in Texas. Now, here's some facts about Texas. Not only is it a large state, but it has more counties than any other state. 254 counties in Texas. Almost 30 million people live in that state. I mean, it's almost as big as Canada in terms of population. This is a huge state, a lot of activity, people buying in various counties throughout the state. So I'm going to give you a little information. Our information comes from actually doing buying tours there. And so our people really know what they're doing. But I'm going to show you on this video how you can make double-digit returns on your money. All right, now this is called a redeemable tax deed state. Now, what on earth is a redeemable deed? Well, when they have an auction, they actually sell the deed to the property. When they sell that deed to the property, you will actually get the deed to the property. However, it's redeemable. So I said it was a redeemable deed. So for 180 days, that property owner can come in and redeem the property. That is, they can come in and pay you whatever you paid, plus, listen to this, 25%. Now, where are you going to make 25% of your money? All right, so for 180 days, the property owner can come back and they can redeem their property, and they have to do that within the 180 days, and they have to pay whatever you paid plus 25%. Now, is that a huge rate of return or what? Now, if they don't come in, they don't redeem the property in that 180 days. That's just a very short 6 months. If they don't come in, you're going to get the property, and I'm going to show you an example of that before I finish. So anytime in the 180 days that the property owner comes in and redeems, in other words, they come forward and they say, I want to get my deed back. So you're going to give the deed back to them, but you're going to get all the money you invested plus 25%. Now, where are you going to get returns like that? That's pretty darn powerful. So what is a tax lien? Well, the state are going to file a tax lien against the property. And once they've done that, then they're going to take the property to auction. Now, they do auctions every month in Texas. I've been to Harris County. You can go there yourself, and you'll see 200, 250 properties. First Tuesday of the month, every single month, all year long. So that means there's going to be, just in Harris County, probably 2,000 or 3,000 properties going to tax auction, okay? So the local county files a lien against the property, then the treasurer goes out and actually sells the deed to the property, but it's a redeemable deed. So remember, the property owner can come in and pay for it, but when they do, you're going to get a 25% return. Now, where are you going to get that kind of return? Now, we in the business call that a penalty return. So it's very much like a tax lien state, except, wow, talk about making money, 25% return anytime in 180 days. All right, so keep that in mind. They call that a redeemable tax deed. What happened is there was a lien on the property. The auctioneer sells it, but he sells a redeemable deed. All right, now, so any investor that purchases there, they're either going to get the property or they're going to get a 25% return. Now, let me say that again. This is kind of a win-win situation. You're either going to get the property or you're going to get a 25% return. So this business was actually created between the state legislature and the local county board of commissioners. They created this system. It works for the county because the county gets money. It works for you because you get money. And if the property owner had any chance at all in life to get his act back together or her act back together, they could get their property back. So they're not booting people out of property. So that's a kind of a nice deal. So I'm going to show you in just a second here, one of my Canadian investors, a young woman from Clairepin, Quebec City, She traveled to Texas to buy because she saw these giant returns. All right, now what happened was another couple owned a residential lot in a beautiful subdivision. Residential lot. All right, the residential lot came up for auction, and guess what? She bought it, and she spent about $43,000. Now, that's a lot of money. $43,000 for that lot. However, the property owner never came forward and redeemed it. So that meant she ended up with the property. So she didn't get paid. She ended up with the property. So now she was at the 6-month point. Took her a month or so to get it together, and she sold it. And she sold it for $75,000. Folks, that's like a $30,000 profit in 9 months' time. Compare that with your investment portfolio. Did you make that kind of money? Think about that. That's a huge investment, a huge amount of money. 70% return over 90 days. Now, if you have some comments to make, just throw them in the chat box below me. Write them there. We answer all the questions. We're happy to do that. And a matter of fact, you'll find out at the end of this that I have a nice gift for you. So if you send me a question and then you sign up, well, sure enough. All right, so investing in liens and lien properties in Texas is a big business. Now, it's big because it's big returns to you. You're either going to get the property or you're going to get a 25% return. Now, lots of folks are out there talking about this. There's a lot of hype. Well, we don't have a lot of hype. We just have a real business that we've been teaching people how to do this for 25 years. All right, now with the internet, you can do all of your research on these properties from anywhere in the world. So you could be in the United Kingdom, you could be in Brazil, you could be anywhere you want. And if you had an American bank account and you had the internet, guess what? You could be buying these properties and making money. These auctions go all year long. They don't take any time off except for Christmas. All right, so this is an investment. Just like any investment, is there going to be risk? Well, there's going to be a little risk in any kind of investment. But where are you going to get an investment that you're either going to get the property or you're going to earn 25%? I think that's a deal of the month. All right. So I'm going to finish up by doing a couple of questions. The final thing I do want to say to you is research, research, and research. And we have lots of classes to teach you that. So let me take a couple of questions before I finish up.
Ted, first question is, if I'm buying these properties and I'm not in that state, what are some other ways I can look at the property?
Okay, now there's lots of ways to look at property. So you heard the question, how could you look at property? Well, everybody knows about Google and what have you, but they have computer systems that are much more complex than that we can teach you how to use, and you can actually check all the properties in the neighborhood, and you can do all of this research online. So there's much better computer systems than Google that are out there. I don't have time to tell you about it now, but I can tell you right now, we teach classes every week on how to do research, and every person that gets involved with us gets a coach every Wednesday night to guide them and make sure they do well.
Ted, when I purchase a property, and if I want to sell the property, do I have to use a real estate agent, or are there other ways to sell it?
Oh, that's a really good question. People are worried about, do they have to spend a lot of money selling it? In this system, you don't have to have a broker. You don't have to have an attorney. We can teach you how to do all of this stuff on your own. It's not difficult, I should say. But here, think about this. You already know what Craigslist is. If you have a property and you can offer a bargain, you put it on Craigslist, you're going to get a lot of activity. There's nothing wrong with eBay. There's nothing wrong with Marketplace. There's a lot of ways to sell property today. Am I saying cut out the brokerage community? No. If you want to use a broker, certainly go right at it and do that. But you don't have to spend that money. Our clients take charge of their own property. If you want to control your destiny, you have to control every step of the property. Now, why do we do business in the tax lien and deed arena? Because we've got a stable business that doesn't have a lot of recessions. That's what this is all about. Being able to do business every month and being able to control it yourself. That's what we'll teach you to do. I promise you I'd tell you about 2 mistakes. Now, the 2 mistakes are happening all the time at auction, and I see this happening with newcomers, and I also see it happening with experienced investors. So let me tell you what I see going on, and I hope you'll be able to avoid these mistakes. So number 1 is people show up at the auction, they're excited, they want to make money, so they start bidding. Well, if you haven't looked at the property, you should not start bidding. How do you know what's actually there? Is that property next to a chicken farm that might have a lot of odors? Or has that property burned down? Could there have been a hurricane this past week? I mean, who knows if you're just buying a number on a sheet of paper. So you need to look at the property. So boots on the ground, eyes on the property are very important. Now, you don't necessarily have to be there yourself, but you darn sure better have somebody check that property before you buy. So that's mistake number one. Now, mistake number two is similar, and I see this happening on a regular basis, and people are showing up at the auction. They're all excited, but someone beats them out of a property because they either bid higher or whatever. Well, that's nothing to worry about. There's always plenty of auction properties. However, you don't want to just start bidding without having an exit strategy. Now, what's an exit strategy? Well, folks, you have to know what you're going to sell it for if you're going to start bidding. You don't want to start bidding so that you're the winning bidder. That isn't important. The winning bidder can just bid too much money, and that's what they do. And then you can't sell it because you're into the property at too high a price. So there's two exit strategies, two things you need to really be thinking about. One, look at the property. Two, you have to have an exit strategy. All right, now I have a nice gift for you below. It's called a safe haven. You'll love this. It's going to teach you about tax lien certificates and tax defaulted property. So there's your chance. You're going to get that absolutely free. It's my gift to you. Just register below, and I'll see you on the next video.